Hello everyone and welcome to the Ukulele Underground Podcast Live. We are live on a Monday of all days, everyone. Welcome to Monday Ukulele Underground Podcast Live. My name is Aldrin Guerrero. Joining me are the boys are here. So Aaron the Voice Nakamura, say what's up, Aaron?
What's up?
And Mr. Kahai the Legend Fergan, say what's up, Legend?
What's up, Legend?
Welcome, guys. So it's wow, I feel like I just saw both of you.
We're just here doing this.
Yeah, it's the same exact thing. But like, we're here. We're trying something new. We want to do a lot more of these streams more often because when we did like the every other week, people are like, okay, well, I guess I'll just tune into this. Like some people just want to tune into the podcast. Some people just want to do the jam. So for those people, they can just tune in on Monday or they can tune in on Friday. I mean, of course, Aloha Friday Live Jam is gonna get the Friday spot, not podcast.
It's part of the name.
Right. So for those of you folks, I don't even know if there are people who are saying that, but just we want to cover our bases before people go, oh, I kind of like listening to the podcast on Friday, but the titular show of Aloha Friday Live Jam has to be on a Friday. So
at the same time, it would have been funny if we moved the jam to Mondays.
Yeah.
And played Aloha Friday on a Monday.
Aloha Monday Live Jam doesn't have the same ring to it, Kai. Yeah, so what we do here is we answer any and all of your ukulele or preferably ukulele questions. We'll answer anything basically as long as you can deal with our opinions, because we're not going to give answers, we're going to give opinions on your questions. The three of us collectively have played ukulele for a long time. We've we've traveled the world. We've played at places. We know people who knows things. So if we don't know, we've probably heard the answer somewhere else. But we're completely honest. If we don't know something, we pretty much say so, right? We're like, I don't know anything about that. Someone's asking about triplet strums in the UK, and I'm like, I don't know anything about that, And anything else you don't know that you wouldn't be able to answer, Kahai? What are some subjects that people should just kind of stay clear from?
I think
Quantum physics.
No, I think Aaron can answer that. You went to college, right?
I don't think anyone knows. No one really knows.
Yeah.
Geography is geography. I'm terrible at geography.
Yo, but you have three screens in front of you. One of them can have a map in it, right?
If I can pull up a map, sure. Google can help me with that one.
Yeah, that's what Google Maps is for. Why are people asking us geography questions? If they did, so just Google it is what we'd say, right?
Yep.
JGI, just Google it. All right, so we are live. So type in your questions. If you guys have questions, you can ask us live. And you can also interact with us. So if you want to react to something that we say, you can say so on the chat, and we'll react to that. And if you have a follow-up question, you can ask in there as well. You can always email us to get your questions in advance, and you can reach out to us via ukuleleunderground.com, the premier ukulele website that has it all. We've been around since 2007, 2008, officially 2008, but we've been around forever. So our website, ukuleleunderground.com, will teach you how to play the ukulele. All right. So if you want to learn how to play the ukulele, if you somehow stumbled upon the Ukulele Underground podcast, you're like, what is this about? And you want to learn how to play ukulele, ukuleleunderground.com. So without further ado, Kahai, give me the first question.
Okay. And another thing that me and Aaron thought about doing differently, besides changing it to Mondays, is that for the podcast, we thought we would hit you with one of our questions or something.
Wait, what?
A topic to talk about.
Okay. Switching it up a little. I love this. Here's what Monday moment. What do we call this segment, Guy? Monday moments.
The more you Monday.
I also thought it might be like let's stump Aldrin. Right?
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Hit me.
I
give O's. Remember, I said that earlier, right? Okay. I give O's. All right. Not A's. I give O's.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because this is definitely one that's asking for some O's.
Okay.
Okay. So who do you think out of all the players in the world.
Oh, here we go. I can smell the controversy already. All right, who am I making mad today?
Who do you think has the out of all the players in the world, we want you to pick the top 3 who has the best tone. And we're going to put in a caveat. We figured that Jake is already going to be in there, and it's probably unanimously for everybody else. So we're going to say, like, everybody else besides Jake?
No Jake or James. That's no top tier guys.
Well, we said Jake, but should we exclude James too? Aaron, you think?
Yeah, I mean,
another given. Yeah, we kind of want like maybe some people that people don't necessarily
But
know.
I feel like it merits an explanation for those people. For those people who are new to the ukulele.
First of all, can you describe what tone is, just as a baseline, or what do you consider
yes.
tone?
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is definitely one of those questions that it has a self preference. Like if you prefer a specific tone over another tone, like. Some people that might want like the most traditional sounding ukulele tone might not agree with some of my picks, because I feel like traditional ukulele tone is that kind of bright and happy, very like very not scratchy. I wouldn't say scratchy, but just got that very like old school feel, like strummy kind of feel to it. Okay, for me, yes, strumming is definitely one of them, but I feel that picking individual notes is really like where one marks good tone. Okay, like but you can still have good strumming tone. That I can touch up on that and while I explain my answers. But the reason why we're excluding guys like Jake and James, the top tier guys like that, 2 of the best in the world. Like at any given day, one could be the number 1 in the world, and then another one could be the number 1 in the world. Like it's just. It depends on what you like. It is subjective, just like all the answers for this question, okay? Now, Jake is an exception because like he's considered the top ukulele player in the world. And his tone is something that like a lot of us professional ukulele players model their tone after. Where like his approach and his like his mastery with the attack on the strings, and as he knows like when to add and when to subtract like harshness, when to add the harshness and when not to have harshness, and when to have like mellowness. It's just he's got everything. Got all the tools. Okay, so same thing with James. I mean, I wouldn't put James. I would put James in that same conversation, because not and it's not because he's got that kind of approach that Jake does, but if his range, like when you listen to something like Little Wing in the Flying Leap album, you can really tell that like he knows what what tone or what kind of tone the song calls for, and he goes to that tone, where it's not exactly like, okay, like Jake, he will try to approach it with the most masterful tone, whereas James knows exactly what the song calls for, and then he'll do that. Like some examples, like I said, is Little Wing. He's got a very like bluesy tone to it, but still mellow, and something like what's another one here? Down the Rudo Canal, like, and it's just so playful, and his the way that the fast lines can still be heard, but it's like kind of scratchy, very happy, very ukulele, kind of tone. So his range and knowing what kind of tone is called for in a song, very, very, very masterful. So those 2 guys can't even be in this conversation of who has the best tones, because those guys obviously have the best tones. Okay.
So like exactly what are you talking about with ukulele tone? Okay,
so ukulele tone, when you when you think about tone, you want to I consider it like, I don't know if you guys watch like a lot of a lot of older movies with ukulele in it, like what people think that's kind of soprano tone, but it's not necessarily like too bright, because I feel like some soprano tones from back in the day can sound a little bit, a little bit on the mellow side as well. But that's what I mean by like an ukulele tone. Like when you think ukulele, like if there's like a cartoon where like Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse are like on a like on a boat and he's playing ukulele for her and stuff. Mickey's playing ukulele for Minnie, like that, or like anything like from that era where like ukulele was super popular. Sopranos were like a thing, and so when people think of ukulele and they don't know like the new scene of ukulele, that's what people would consider that ukulele tone. So anywhere from guys like Tiny Tim, guys like Roy Smeck, and let's see, those dudes, and
so what are you saying, like that is like the traditional ukulele tone?
Yeah, that's that traditional ukulele sound, like very bright, very like strum heavy, soprano kind of tone. Okay,
and then you're saying that you prefer the more modern ukulele tone for picking?
It just, so because it's mostly like heavy strumming, like you can't really tell the tone of individual notes, because when somebody approaches individual notes, that's when you can kind of have an idea of how they will approach one note, like how they can make one note sound. Because if you have multiple notes like in a strum and it's coming off like all at one time, it's tough to tell the tone of each string. But if you're playing like a single line, it's a lot easier to kind of to judge that tone. Whereas like that's the kind of stuff that I would consider like an ukulele tone, like that kind of sounding, or like a really like old school ukulele soprano tone. Okay, now not saying soprano tones are not good. That will have a place in my list. So top 3, which is really 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 tough. Okay, so should I go 3, 2, 1? Okay.
Up to you.
Okay. This is really 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 tough, because there are a lot of like good modern players with great skill, but tone, like okay.
We were also talking and we said like try and narrow it down to 3. But we wouldn't like mark you off if you wanted to give some honorable
I'll give some more like on top of that. I'll give my 3 and then I'll give some more on top of that. Well, I've said this before, and I said it time and time again. I think there has to be room in the 3 for Herb Ohta Jr. I'm not gonna say like which one is ranked higher than which, because it's subjective. So the first one, I'm gonna say Herb Ohta Jr. His like. It's tough because I'm gonna have 2 Ohtas in this list. So I'll explain why. So Herb Ohta Jr., like the stuff that he plays, very 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 melodic, but he'll and he keeps up with the traditional style. What I mean by that is he'll cover like a lot of traditional Hawaiian songs and he'll adapt it for the ukulele. It's more just like the ukulele sounding like how it's meant to sound, but with a more like kind of modern approach to it, in the sense where like he's playing a bigger instrument, he's like concentrating on the single notes and the tone and stuff. But that tone like that he gets, it's just, and it's kind of crazy because you've seen there are videos where like Jake and Herb will play together. And you're like, oh yeah, that's why, like, because I like Jake's tone, but when you listen to Herb, it's just like, okay, these two like should play together because they sound really 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 good, and they're discernible. Like Abe's tone, not Abe, but Herb's tone is like he's got his own signature, unique, really whole tone. And I like where it sounds whole. I don't like it where it sounds too thin. I don't like it when it sounds too low, because it's kind of like I feel it's kind of going away from the ukulele tone, because the ukulele should still be a bright sounding instrument, but not too bright. So someone like Herb Jr. Can really attack the strings, still have it sound like an ukulele without it sounding too bright, and it's just that perfect attack. Okay, not too much, or if and then it's, I was gonna say not too much nail, but he doesn't even use nail. He uses like a thumb pick. So it's just, it's amazing like how he gets that sound. You know, and like one of and I'll give some examples. He can do what is that song? What is that song called?
Is it that Sakura?
Yeah, it's like a Japanese. No, it's a Japanese song. I'm drawing a blank right now. But that, like, very melodic. But then, you know, he's got the chords behind it and stuff. But and he'll play the chord melody style where it's like the melody line and the chords behind it. But you can hear the melody line really standing out like in the foreground, whereas the chords are in the background. And yes, he plays some really beautiful chords, but not always. And it's like, I think that also lends to it sounding like how an ukulele should, because yes, you can play lots of really cool, colorful sounding chords to it, but there's also something to like a simple C chord or a simple F chord or G7 and whatever. And he knows when to use complex and complicated chords, and he knows when to use just like a simple G7. Because say for example, if you're doing like a, you're gonna use like this G7 to that C. You're not gonna be like G7 with with an add 9 and to a major 7 or anything like that. You're not playing fancy schmancy chords, because that's not what it calls for. Yeah. So yes, I feel like Herb Jr. has one of the best ukulele tones for me. It's my subjective opinion, okay? Next one is another Ohta Sr. I'll tell you why. Okay? Going back to that old school sound that I talked about, and he does play a soprano ukulele. Okay, so he plays a soprano, so already he's gonna get that traditional ukulele sound to it. But the way that he attacks the strings, where that it's a soprano, but the tone and the sound is so whole that it's almost unbelievable. I don't know if it's and a lot of people think that he'll play like the Ohta-San model with like the bell, the bell-shaped kamaku ukulele. No, he plays a small Martin ukulele everywhere. He does have like a kamaka model, but he plays a small Martin, and the kind of tones that he gets out of that Martin, I don't know if it's because that Martin is so old and he's played it so much that vintage tone really just comes out. And see, he doesn't use a thumb pick, he uses his thumb. And he does get brighter tones than Herb Jr. does, but those bright tones also match what he does. And he'll play love songs any loves, because he has like a billion albums, he's covered all of it. But the best one, if you can, and it's, I feel like his greatest ukulele song is Song for Anna. If you listen to Song for Anna, you can hear through the song why he was at one point the best in the world. When you listen to that, you're like, yeah, that's that's it. But a very delicate song like that, and then on the other side of the spectrum you have he's the guy who wrote Body Surfing. You listen to Body Surfing, then he's got the bright tones in the right places, and it's amazing. So listen to both those tracks, Song for Anna and Body Surfing, the original Body Surfing from Herb Ohta Sr. So Ohta-San, okay? Yeah, I don't know what they do in that family, but they know what ukuleles sound like, okay? And last but not least, I feel is the hardest, because those we've gotten the obvious ones out, So this one is kind of who do we put in this in this category? of the best, if we're talking the best, because there's a lot of people aside from those two that are really good, are all about the same level. Okay, so my pick is controversial. It's gonna be controversial. And I'll say why. Okay, a lot of this. I'm gonna get hate. Has to be Imua Garza. And I'll tell you why. He's the only ukulele player that can take any, and I mean any ukulele, and make it sound good with his tone. He can take an electric ukulele, plug it in, and have an album, and it sounds amazing. Because usually you should record your ukulele with a microphone rather than it being plugged in. Somehow, Imua Garza can use a applause ukulele, which at the time was like $300, and make that thing sound like
plugged in.
Yeah, plugged in.
Yeah,
make that thing sound like it's worth thousands of dollars. So based on that, and I can give you guys more examples, that's why I wanted to provide like some songs that they've done or that they've recorded, so you can listen to it and you're like, oh yeah, Aldrin knows what he's talking about. So for Imua, one of the fast ones is something Race Down Something Canyon. Let me go look up what it's called, because I don't want to get it wrong and be like, oh, I looked it up and it's not there. So he has an album called Dream Speaking, okay, and Wild Horse Canyon. The song is called Wild Horse Canyon, and that song just like takes you on a journey. I love kind of cinematic sounding instrumentals. Like I write them myself, but once I listen to this album, I'm like, mine didn't even get close to it. Like what this did, it's amazing. Yeah, that song Wild Horse Canyon. That's good too. Like there's so much that's really good. But Midnight Run is another good one. But and then like a slow one that he does. Let's see. There's like slow songs in the Opihi Pickers album that will match and kind of stand out from the vocals, because Opihi Pickers, he's the ukulele player for that band, but that band is more like kind of reggae with vocals in it and stuff. But he makes the ukulele be in the foreground alongside the singers. So it's like, I don't know, it takes a lot of knowledge on on where your ukulele should lie. So that means that you need to know each and every instrument in that band to know where your instrument sits. Okay, and where it sits on as far as like the hertz that everybody else is taking up. Like the drums takes up a certain amount of hertz, the bass, the guitar, the vocals. He knows where he's lying on that mix in order for him to stand out and be in the foreground with his ukulele. Yeah. So any slow song from the OP Pickers album, I think you could do. There's one where like I know it's not slow, but he goes. That one where like I heard that technique with the palm mutes, but then like the way that he mixed it into that track, it's kind of like, whoa, palm mutes never sounded so good, on ukulele, because like I've heard palm mutes like on the Pure Heart album, when they're doing Bring Me Your Cup, but the way that he did it, I think the song's called Love Grow Cold. So the way that he did it on Love Grow Cold was just like, oh, that's like a great tone because we're talking about tone, a great tone on the palm mute, and it sits so well within that track. So I feel like those are my top three guys, but my third one I think is controversial because they're like, I don't agree, because there's other greats. There's what's that?
Well, I feel like, but the people that people might say like, oh, what about this person or what about that person?
Yeah.
I think if you told them though that like these are who we picked, they should be like, yeah, those are also like really good players that I respect too.
Yeah, I mean, there's like some great technical players. You know what I mean? Like, because people would say like, oh, what about like, you know, a lot of old school players like Benny Chong or like, you know, how about those guys? They're very good, like top tier, like very technically good. And so we're talking about tone, you know. So if we're talking about tone, we're also talking about cleanliness of their approach, because I feel like a lot of the old school guys come from like kind of a jazzy, you know, like background. So a lot of the times, you know, their approach, especially strumming, is just, you know, it doesn't land as clean as you know, someone like Imua or Herb Jr. and stuff. Not saying that they're not, you know, that they're not good, because they're great. They're like way better than, you know, than I am or the next person. But we're talking about tone, okay, and we're talking about, you know, like cleanliness, talking about like landing on the notes clean, talking about getting, once you land there, that note sounds, you know, like sounds amazing. So it's that. But I'm sure if they played like nice and slow, like they could be as good as, you know, as any of the three. But talking through my favorites, and that's my top 3 favorite ukulele tones that I've ever heard on ukulele.
When me and Aaron were like kind of talking about this question, and you know, because like it is like you know,
it's so subjective, man.
Yeah. Somebody can say like, oh, I like that jazz, like though that like, you know, kind of rougher tone or something, and that's perfectly fine too.
Yeah, for me, it's about being clean. Like whoever the clean is, and whoever has the fattest tone. Yeah.
And I think also like I was gonna ask, so if people listen to these players, like what do you think they can do if they want to try and emulate these tones? And I think for me, like something that makes it key for like players with good tone is that they're very intentional with what they want their uke to sound like, right? Yeah. It's not just the fact that it's like, oh, I play it and it sounds good. Yeah. It's like they know exactly like the reason why they're playing specific notes or playing a certain way to try and get that tone.
Yeah. Cause like, you know, listen to any of the songs that I, you know, that I pointed out, and there's just so many reasons why those 3 guys, like listening to it, it's so clean. Like the ukulele sounds so clean and it sounds fat. But like say someone like Ohta Sr. like it does sound fat, but it's still got those like ukulele like high tones.
The innocence of the ukulele is still there.
I can't even explain it. I'm an ukulele player. I consider myself a professional ukulele player, but it's one of those like that I can't even touch. You know,
could you give an example of bad tone with like maybe a you know, like a,
who do you think has the worst tone?
No, as far as like just run through like a line, like a picking line, and just try to do like, you know, demonstrate bad tone and then do the same line with like better tone.
Like here's good tone versus. You can kind of tell that, yeah. Okay, so.
Okay, so for me, I kind of hear the clackiness of your fingernail a little bit more on the second one, whereas there's a more rounded sound to the first one.
And there's some where like it sounds like, that's also another one, or yeah. And then there's the even if you played it loud, or like there's a nice kind of warmness
like
to it. Yeah,
pleasantness to it.
There's a lot of different ways to approach and attack the ukulele, and it also depends on the song that you're doing. Like I said, so knowing when to do those attacks, like, you know, that's where it matters, I feel like.
Okay. These are, because like what you just demonstrated was more like difference in tonal qualities, right?
Yeah.
And so that is like where people can be like, oh, I want this type of tone for this song, or I want to play it like this. And even, you know, intentionally like maybe playing it bad where it's like, oh, typically you wouldn't want to play it like this, But for this particular song, it calls for it. So that's why I'm playing it like that.
Yeah.
I remember like the masterclass with Imua, right?
Yeah.
Like he demonstrated stuff and then he's like, or you can do it like this, or you can do it like this. And he just has like a bunch of different options for playing the same line, but it's just like, oh, it's to get a different sound, even if you're playing the same notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that more seasoned players are doing a specific tone for like what Kai said about intentionality. Yeah, they're doing it intentionally in order to achieve a certain result, whereas not as seasoned players are playing just the notes that come out, right, and not thinking about that. Or
should I give my my runner-ups?
Oh yeah.
Top of the runner-up list is Calais got me out.
I was thinking that could have been your third.
It was between Calais or Imua, and I'm like, I mean, Imua just makes a applause ukulele sound good. So anybody with that ability, I'm gonna have to give it to that person.
Yeah. When I was saying like, I think people are gonna be like, oh, what about this person? I was thinking of Calais. And I feel like Calais would be the person, like if he said like, oh, the top three are these three people, he'd be like, yeah, those are good choices. Those are also like either my top three or I would definitely put them high on my list too.
Another one, Abe Lagrimas, because I feel like he is the modern day take on old school jazz. Because like his, the way that he strums it, because he's not like a nail player. It sounds really, really jazzy and warm, and like that kind of approach. He can comp like the best of them. But then when he picks, he has this really like finger pick style rather than nail. So the tone is really, really
round.
Good. So I feel
tone, not very sharp.
It's a very modern take on an old school style, which is like super duper ridiculously hard. Like. So where do I rank myself? Not nowhere near these guys. Another one. Let's see if I can do one more. I've been listening to a lot of Rio stuff lately, and that kid is going places. I feel like Rio has like another really good tone, because he models it like after Jake, where like when it comes to like big dynamic songs, he can be super dynamic, but then he can also like plays really delicately when it comes to like slow songs as well. So I think like Calais, Abe, and Rio are my three runner-ups. So if I had a top six, that would be the top six.
Yes,
I feel like know
it's a good group.
Yeah. So I know you're gonna hate, like, oh, how come you don't mention this person? It's like, that's, I don't know. I mean, show us on the comments below who I should have had, okay? And then like cite some of the songs, like, oh, listen to this person on this song, okay? Okay, there. Put it on the not on the live chat, because I can't see the live chat right now, and I don't have time to go like look that person up in the live chat. Comment below.
Okay, so we can look it up later.
We can look it up later.
Yeah, and then if we get enough rate, maybe next week we can be like,
I can do a follow up and like, okay, cool. We'll have to strike Imua from the thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah.
We'll move on to
audience questions. No audience questions.
Yeah, we have audience questions.
Cool.
Somebody,
I like this. That was tough, guys. Let me just say that was tough, because I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But then I think at that list, it's like anybody, any person who knows ukulele would agree.
Like all of our questions that from now on are just gonna be like, if you had to choose 3 players to survive on an island by yourself, who would you pick? And who would you not want with you? Okay.
Yeah. I'll pick ukulele, because he would keep my morale up. I feel like, I feel like if I needed somebody to keep me happy on a deserted island, ukulele. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just thinking. Kyle, get out of here. Don't watch you. No. I love Kyle. Okay, Melody Silver says, I play soprano as a beginner. I played a friend's concert ukulele. Should I buy one, and would you recommend a East Rock or Donner?
Oh, there's one of those, like, you know, I have to admit, I've been out of the like the new ukulele scene. We haven't been in NAMM in a long time, so I haven't tried an East Rock or a Donner, at least not lately, you know? Like, I might have tried them down the road, but it's been so long that I don't have a fresh take on it, you know? So I can't answer the second question of, like, would you recommend this or that? I mean, I can give you some recommendations, but it's not going to be either of those because I've never tried those, okay? But as far as if you play soprano as a beginner, if you liked the concert that you played, then go buy one. I think it's that easy where, like, I mean, I guess if you can afford it, it's that easy. But, like, it's that easy of a decision that, like, if you buy a concert ukulele and you play soprano now, it doesn't negate the soprano that you already have. Okay, like you can still go and play that soprano, and go enjoy your concert in it. I think that, like, as you progress through, you might might want to take on some songs, you know, with that would need a little bit more volume, would need a little bit more of that kind of tone, since we're talking about tone and stuff. Some sopranos don't have the higher frets. Maybe you want to tackle a song with higher frets. Or if you feel like you've outgrown the soprano in the sense that, like, it might be a little too small for your hands, you know, since you want to go up the fretboard, it's a lot wider spacing. There's all these reasons why you should try something new. So I would not suggest, but encourage you to try the or not try, but I guess buy a concert ukulele. I mean, if you liked it, then go for it. But if you so you should have enough knowledge, because if you tried it, you should know if you like it or hate it, right? Mm-hmm. If you hate it and you're like, but this is like the next level of ukulele is concert, but I didn't really like it, don't get it. You know what I mean? You don't have to play a concert. If you like soprano, stick to soprano. One of the guys in my top 3 tones plays a soprano, and he's, you know, at one point in time considered, and I think he would be considered the GOAT of, like, ukulele greatest of all time, you know, if we're talking all time, because he's the guy who inspired Jake, you know? Mm-hmm. I mean, Jake is also a GOAT, greatest, one of the greatest. Definitely. One of the GOATs, you know, there are plenty of GOATs.
Yeah, well, he would definitely be in, like, the Ukulele Hall of Fame.
Yes, you know, so just because you play a soprano, don't feel like you have to graduate, quote unquote, to the next size up. If you like that sound, keep that sound. If you play the concert, you like that sound, go for that sound. If you can afford it, if you feel like if you have space in your house for it, because, you know, now it's harder for me to buy new ukuleles because my wife is like, where are we gonna put this? So it just depends, you know, on your situation. But I encourage you try. I encourage you buy. Yeah.
I think my suggestion would be, I know East Rock and Donner, I think they're a little bit more affordable instruments. And if you played your friend's concert and really liked it, try and get the same brand or make as your friend. And then if it's maybe a little bit more expensive, you're looking for a cheaper instrument like East Rock and Donner. I would maybe suggest to save up for when you can afford, like, whatever ukulele your friend has, because I think it's better to, like, save up and get the one that you want than, like, spend less now and then get, like, a ukulele that you're like, oh, but it's not like the one that I thought I was getting, and then, you know, kind of get disappointed. So not saying that they're bad instruments, but just I would say, like, wait. I think it's worth waiting a little bit if you can save up and get something that you know you'll like instead. Yep.
Good.
Okay. Robert Antonio, kind of similar, said, I play a concert ukulele, but I'm considering a long neck ukulele in an effort to keep the tone but make it easier for me to play it. What should I look for?
If you're considering a long neck ukulele, I mean, have you the first thing I would ask is, have you tried one? Like, how did you come to this conclusion that to consider a long neck soprano? Did you try one, you liked it, or did you just see and you're like, oh, that seems more like my size, so I will consider getting that ukulele? So if it's available to you anywhere near you, like a music store or something, or you have a friend like in ukulele club or whatever it may be, try theirs out, see if you like it or not. Or if you don't have it available, try playing, like, you play a concert, so that would be like a tenor neck, play like a tenor. Just play a tenor. See if you like the neck profile of a tenor, because that's basically it, right? It's just like a tenor neck on a concert body if you're thinking long neck. So if you already have a tenor and you like that, it's basically that, just with the concert body. It's okay. Let's see if. You like the so because you like the tone of the smaller instruments, but you want to have like you want to have ease of play. Yeah, I mean, I think you should. I think you should consider getting one. What should you look for? Look for something, if you like the tone of your ukulele now, just like what Kahai said, if you like that tone, then look for that kind of tone. If you have an ukulele now that you like. See if they have a long neck version. If they don't have a long neck version, like try to find an ukulele that's kind of comparable. Like ask around in your club. Go to the ukulele forums. There's tons of people who have different ukuleles there that have great opinions, on ukes. But for me, if you're asking me, I would definitely stick, because I like sticking to a brand, and once I find a brand that I like. I stick to that basically. So I would, whatever brand you're playing now, see if they have a long neck version of that, or ask around, or maybe ask the company if it's a higher end company, they could make one for you. That could be like a solution. But really, as far as what to look for, I mean. Nothing. I mean, just try it out. See if you like it. It's the same exact thing. It's just a concert ukulele with a tenor neck. So as far as what to look for, whatever you already looked for in your concert, look for those things. Like whatever you liked from playing your concert, keep those things. And things that you didn't like, like look for things that they look for you that don't have that. Because I think at this point, if you already play ukulele, you know what you want. It's not like a beginner asking, like, what should I look for in an ukulele? Then I did not have like this general kind of answer to give. But I feel that even if you played it for a month or two, like you should kind of know like I like this feeling, I like this, and I like that. But I don't know, some general stuff like. You should look for good intonation. I think we did a podcast on this. You should look for like a good neck profile, like if that feels good for you, especially because it's going to be a long neck. If the body feels good, some like there's body profiles are different, depending on the maker and the model and stuff. So try to find one that's comfortable to you, and those things.
Yeah, I would say I think if you can, definitely if you like that brand and you like your current concert ukulele, try and stick with it.
Yeah.
But then if for, not all brands make concert ukuleles with longer necks, or they don't offer that.
Yeah.
So you might, if they don't, you might want to look at other brands, and you might want to try other brands' concerts, because you might get a similar tone. But then the neck profile might make it easier for you to play it in that sense too. So you can always try it like that, and then also try. I wouldn't knock out tenor ukuleles too, because you might find a tenor that has that tone that you still like, but it has that longer neck. So
I know this is and we sell Islander ukuleles and we sell Kanile ukuleles on shop.ukuleunderground.com, but. There's a reason why I'm bringing this up right now. It's because their necks are wider, as far as the string space, just the wider neck in general. I think it's wider this way. So the string spacing is a lot wider. So if you're talking about going from a soprano to a longer neck because it feels more comfortable, try a wider neck. And and Kanile ukuleles, Islander ukuleles have wider necks. That might be something for you to try, because you might be able to stick to a concert. You don't even have to have a long neck, concert. You can just have a regular concert, but with with a wider neck, so it feels really good. You know what I mean? Because there's a certain I've played long necks before, and there's a certain kind of imbalance, with the long necks. But maybe I just haven't played them long enough, because I don't own any, but I've played some, and it always feels kind of weird, because I have a certain profile when I play ukulele. So if I were to imagine it being this way, even just a little bit, that kind of affects my
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you try those out under Kanilea, they have wider necks, so that might solve it without having to like get a long neck concert ukulele. Yep. Okay, next. Hope that answers the question, Kahai.
Sorry.
Shout out to Matcha for keeping you hydrated or dehydrated. You know, depends how this caffeine is gonna kick in.
Okay. Here, let's do this one then. So Donovan.
Yes.
Said, I'm still kind of new but bored with 4-chord songs. What do you recommend as a next step?
5-chord songs.
Or any song that you that interests you.
Yeah, and get songs that interest you. You know what I mean? If you're bored with 4-chord songs, that means like you're kind of sticking to just those. Like you can always look outside of that. You know, like you could keep the same 4-chord songs but add like different voicings to those chords, maybe like in a different key that might change it up a little bit. Try maybe like a picking song instead, like if you've been playing with 4-chord songs and you kind of started playing with the ukulele already, like a 4-chord songs doesn't just have to be C, F, G, A minor, you know what I mean? Like it could be F, D minor, B flat, C, or G, B minor, C, D, or D, B minor, G, A, or whatever. So that if you know those 4-chord songs, plural songs with different chords, that means like you should have knowledge of a bunch of at least major chords. So if you have a bunch of major chords, then you can use that and play in different keys and add like a 5th chord in there. Because if you know some of the minors in those keys, you can add them up, And so for example, I'll give you an example here. If you know G, B minor, C, D, that's a 4-chord song, right? And you play, I don't know, D, B minor, G, A. That's like... So some of those already like overlap as you notice, like G and B minor, that overlaps. But then there's a you can also play an A, because you can play A, D, B minor. You don't have to play that E in there. You can add the G just to make it sound. Sounds really interesting. I think other things that you can do is like start to finger pick. So instead of strumming those 4-chord songs, you can start to finger pick those 4-chord songs. So instead of just going so however you would strum it. So if you were to go down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Just take that same rhythm of da 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 da. Just add strings to it. Da 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 da. Doesn't matter what string you hit, as long as it's following that rhythm that you did with strum. So one strum equals one string hit. One hit with a string. Or you can hit 2 strings, but that's still one hit, yeah. Do that. Okay, so if you're getting bored, there's all kinds of things to learn. You can learn up picking, or you can add just 5th chord or 6th chord or 7 chords. Yeah, it's all there. It's all there. Just try it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like when people ask this question or kind of ask similar questions, they might actually, it's not really the chords that they're bored with.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more they're playing the same rhythm with like 4 chords.
Yeah, maybe.
And usually, like a lot of songs, even if they sound simple and they only use so many chords, you can kind of dive deeper and play a more complex rhythm, or you can make it more interesting by playing a complex rhythm. I think like one of the She, right, by Green Day, like it only uses 3 chords, right? It's for the whole song.
Yeah.
But the way it uses those 3 chords is like pretty interesting, and I wouldn't say that like somebody would be like, oh, it's only a 3-chord song. It's so boring. It's like if you learn how to play it, like you can add interesting aspects to it.
Yeah. You know what's a difficult 4-chord song? I was jamming this the other day. Is American Pie. It's like it's not this. It doesn't have a. I thought it had a set pattern because I wanted to do it as a lesson. I was like, okay, so what's the chord pattern to American Pie? And it changes every single time, and it's like so confusing that if I were to teach it, there wouldn't be a chord pattern. It's kind of difficult. Like it's deceiving in that way. I mean, like the chords are not difficult, but I think remembering the chord changes is difficult because it's not always the same. It sounds like it, but it doesn't. Yeah.
I was thinking of like even Brown Eyed Girl, right? Like that it uses, is it 4 or 5 chords? But like just because it uses the chords, like it goes kind of back and forth between D and C and other chords too. Like I think it's not a song that you would say like, oh, it's boring and it's just repeating the same 4 old chords. So
but that at least has like a structure of like, it's for the most part it's like what 1 4 1 5 you know, and then there's like a
chorus is
there's like a 6 there's
a
a 6 in there somewhere, and then it goes back to that 5 4 and 5 and back to 1, you know. But if you look up American Pie, it's like, okay, cool. I know D, I know A, I know or whatever the chords are, and it's just like, okay, but what's the pattern? It just, jumbles my mind. So.
Yeah. I feel like I mean, on the internet today, it's like, hey, all you need to do is learn these 4 chords and you can play all these different songs. And that's sort of the draw of the ukulele. It's like, oh, okay, like the barrier to entry is pretty low. I can learn 4 chords and I can play a bunch of different songs. But then if you don't want to play any of those songs, then just go learn a song that you do want to learn.
That's true.
And then they might have different chords, but like that would be an incentive to learn different chords. So.
I mean, it's in the question too. I feel that like a lot of times when people ask me that question, like they already know the answer, but they just want to push on like, they just want someone else to tell them to like and learn a 5 chord song
or any song that you want to learn.
Would have fun with. So if you're getting bored, then that means like you're not playing fun stuff, because you wouldn't be bored if you're having fun with it.
Yeah, and that's the point.
Yeah,
right?
which is the point.
Yeah, because I remember in the beginning, like when I was learning how to play the ukulele, I didn't want to learn, the standard songs that everybody played, and I had my own musical tastes by that point.
Yeah,
and so I just like put on a record and tried to figure it out, even if I didn't have the chords, and that was part of the fun of it. So
same thing. Like I was playing, I played clarinet for the jazz band.
Yeah.
And I really like some of those jazz songs that we played. And like, you weren't going to hear that in ukulele, so I'm just like, I mean, I know how to read these notes, right? And these are notes, so why don't I just play that on this?
Yeah.
So like things like Cowboys and like Night Train and whatever, like I would play them on my ukulele but then like when I showed it to my friends, like, check this out, I play Night Train. And they're like, what is that song?
Yeah.
Like which Kyle Crater Boys album is that song on,
Yeah, I've never heard that on the radio.
I just want to play Kyle Crater Boys, so I was like, okay, I'll learn those, I guess. And I learned that, and then I learned other stuff, and they're like, we just want you to play those ones.
I'll say something controversial. Like, one of the first songs I think I ever learned was Surf.
Yeah.
Right? And if you learn the chords to Surf, like now I can appreciate what it is.
Yeah.
But as a kid, learning just the chords to Surf and learning to play it along and playing with a class of 20 other kids and you're all playing the same thing, right? Like, I thought that song was boring. I did not like that song. But then when, you can go deeper with it. And I think if I, as a kid, if I tried to learn the picking and stuff, I'd be like, this song is actually pretty cool. Like, I like this song now. But if you only stay on that surface level of like, here are just the 4 chords you need to learn to play whatever songs, is like, that's fine if that's all you want, but there is definitely a deeper level that you can go for almost any song.
I like Surf, and I mean, like, yes, you can play that song like with the 4 chords, but there's like a bridge, that goes beyond the 4 chords, and also the rhythm. Like, everyone plays it with that like kind of down, down, up, down, up. But when you listen to the Kyle Crater Boys album, they're not strumming that. You know what I mean? Like, but every grade school teacher that taught us how to play ukulele strummed it that way.
Yeah.
But when you listen to it, it's very reggae too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very like. There's like these like riffs that he's doing in the middle, and the picking that is like amazing, and then like the bridge with these like he's got that major 2/7 in there. It's like it's a kind of a complicated song, but you know, a lot of people learn it, and it's a great way to be satisfied with learning how to play, you know, the ukulele with just those 4 chords. Like, I'm playing that song. Ooh, wow, surf, everybody go surf. Mom, I can play the ukulele, you know? Like, it's one of those things. And it's a great song to teach beginners, because that 1 finger, then 2 fingers, and 3 fingers. It's sequential, you know? Like, it doesn't get any better than that.
It's what they call quick wins.
Yeah, quick wins. So now I guess it's like island style, like people's like the people's first songs and stuff.
Yeah. And then surf. Yeah, you can get the quick wins, but then you can also start looking beyond that.
Yeah.
I think even like if you're, you know, you feel like, these songs are boring, I already got the most out of them. It's like give them try and actually listen to how the people recorded them, because they might be be a little bit different. It can all surprise you.
Because that was the first thing I noticed with that song, like that that thing that he did. I'm like,
how do you do that?
Yeah, how do you do that part? Like, what is?
They didn't teach us that.
And I would listen to it. I'm like, what is that? And I remember, like, that might have been the first riff that I've ever learned. You know, like on ukulele. And I'm like, oh, watch. And then like I remember showing my friends. They're like, that sounds pretty cool. And you know,
it sounds like
sounds like the CD. Sounds like the CD. So. Yeah. By the way, kids, it's compact discs, CD, compact discs. Hi.
Is that like the save symbol? Like the thing you press when you want to save your
No, it's kind of like when your Mac stops working.
The wheel.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's more like that. More like the bottom part anyway, you know, that kind of rainbow color to it. All right, we can keep going, you know, or unless you guys got to go.
We have.
We have questions.
Yeah, we have some more.
I think the beauty of it is there's nothing going on after this show. I mean, we're gonna do stuff, like, you know, but as far as like any obligations streaming wise, I think we're good. So we can answer as much questions as we're comfortable asking. Okay, go.
Okay, Genevieve said, is it okay to keep relatively unused strings to use on a different uke? In case they might work better on a different uke, or once they've been strung on a uke already, are they done? Yeah,
I'd say they're done. And the reason why, it's because not all ukes are made the same, okay? So if I were to take this, if I've been playing with these strings and stuff, they've been stretched out, and more importantly, when you play your ukulele, you're pressing down on here, and what you're doing is you're making contacts with the fret wires. So the grooves and the indentation on the fret wires are already where they're at. Okay, so if you were to take off this the strings, even if it's on the same ukulele, you would have to make sure that everything is perfect, like that it lines up perfectly here, it lines up perfectly here, so that those lines are in the same place. Okay, which never happens. So it's going to feel uncomfortable, like kind of running into those lines in between the frets. And because they have grooves on them, they're kind of compromised already in that sense. So if you're adding more grooves to that string, it might not be good for different reasons, like for not different, but for multiple reasons, because it might not be good. Tone-wise, it might not be good. Intonation-wise, it might not be good. Like feel-wise, just going up and down the neck, and I feel like that's the main thing. Plus, there's also something to it where like the strings are already stretched out. You take them off and you put them on something else and you re-stretch them again, because each ukulele is not the same. So like the amount of string travel, say from the bridge over to here, might be a little bit different, or like the nut might be a little bit different. So that groove on the nut that was created by the previous ukulele might be there. It's just generally not a good idea too. And all the grinds, you don't want to keep the grinds.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, you can. I guess you can wipe it off.
You can do whatever, or you can do whatever you want. But don't expect it to last as long as brand new strings.
it's like the cons for doing that like kind of outweigh you saving however much money by like instead of just buying a set of strings.
Yeah. So, I mean, but it depends. I mean, if you like tried them on and you're like, I didn't like them and stuff, you know, like you tried it on the ukulele and then you take them off. You're like, I didn't like these strings. Maybe I'll use it on that ukulele or whatever. Maybe that might work. You know, if you didn't cut it like that, maybe. But I don't see any other scenarios.
Yeah.
I think you could like you could restring it and you could use the strings, but again, it's like a question of how long they'll last and if you're getting the best tone out of the strings.
Yeah, and I feel like they're compromised after you know, like after taking them off. If you're putting them on another ukulele, they're compromised.
Yeah, and also to sort of side note, like for myself, I usually give strings at least a week. You know, because they won't sound the same on the first day as like if you've been playing it throughout the week.
That's true.
They will settle in and they might give a different tone by the end of the week if you've been playing them consistently than your first impression when you first put them on. So I'll usually like give strings a good week or two for me to assess whether I like them or not before taking them off and restringing them with something else.
What do you feel is like a good amount of time to leave the strings on?
Me?
Yep.
About a week, you know, like a minimum. Like if you're playing it all the time and you're stretching it all the time, like 2 days. That's that. But that's if you're like playing it all day and you're constantly like, you know, like pulling and restringing and not restringing but retuning. If you're doing that, maybe like 2 days. But
do you feel
I don't
like
see anybody doing that?
You've experienced where like you put a set of strings on and you didn't like it when you first put it on, but once it settled, you liked it more?
There's definitely a lot more instances the other way around. I wanted to like them, and then like a week later, they're like, these sound worse.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to name those strings, but I don't know if I had one where I didn't like them. I might have, but it's just so many strings. There's, let's see. I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
For me, Worth Browns, I really didn't like when I first put on.
Yeah.
And then the more that I played it, I could see like, it has a certain tone that is pleasant.
Yeah.
You know, it may not have been like exactly for me, but
you see why
it grew on me after a week or two.
Yeah. Okay.
I was kind of asking because it's like, is it worth it if you don't like the strings on your uke? Is it worth it to keep them on to try and be like, maybe eventually they'll start getting better, or is it like, okay?
I mean, you should if you put them on and you're like, I don't know, but then give it a week, you know,
at least a week.
At least a week, and then decide if you like them or not.
Yeah.
But I think for me, minimum like a couple days, up to a week, like it would take, because a couple days in. Like I feel like with there's those carbons like that I try put them on immediately. I'm like, this is not it. This ain't it, Chief. And
Diodario carbon.
Yeah, and I left it for like a couple days, and I'm like, they still sound terrible. So I don't even want to give these a week because I know already that I'm not gonna like these. So Diodario carbons, and I think I'm only bringing that one up because I think we've said that on the show before already. You know, so
and you also love other Diodario strings,
I
so like that's
Diodario
okay.
Strings, it balances out.
Yeah.
They make good and bad strings.
Can't always be a win.
Yeah, more questions.
Yep. Mitch said, "What's the best way to start learning how to pick?"
Just to just go for it. I mean, the best way to start learning anything is to just try. You have everything that you would need in order to start learning how to pick a new ukulele. You have your ukulele, and that's basically it. You know, like just start by like just using whatever finger you feel most comfortable with. I suggest using the thumb because you can just kind of rest your 4 fingers down here, and you can you already know how to do this motion with the thumb. So just kind of use the flesh. You can kind of see it this way. Use the flesh of your thumb to feel the the tension of the strings, and then release the tension. Really, that's it to picking. You can do that on all the strings. And do what's called the rest stroke, okay? So if you're playing, say, the top string, you want to, feel the tension, release, and then rest it on the string underneath. Same thing with C, E, and then the A is the only one that you can't really do that, and just kind of pick down. It's called a free stroke. So that's, I feel like, where you would start. I think just kind of getting used to like how the strings feel, on that finger, and then use the one string to just like figure out your favorite like nursery rhymes or favorite like kind of riffs that that you can do, because that's how I learned it. Like there was no tabs, no nothing when I was starting out, so I would just take songs that I kind of already know and figure out the melody lines, because really now that you're not strumming, it's like each note to and you can use those notes to come up with a melody line. Like come up with some melodies from here, and don't be afraid to to play the wrong note, because you're just experimenting, you're starting out. So if you go, then you just know you're not gonna hit that note. Okay, like okay, I went down, doesn't feel like I'm further off. So I went high and then I got it. And you can just use one finger if you're just comfortable using one finger, here on this side. Don't worry about it, because all that will come. You know what I mean? If you're talking about just starting to pick, just really just get the feel for like picking individual strings with a finger. Okay? If you're more comfortable with the pointer finger, hold the thumb with the pointer, kind of like you're handing a business card to somebody, and then turn that to the side like this. So, okay? Business card, so it'll kind of come like this, like almost like an X, so that the pointer finger and the thumb is doing a cross-like thing. Okay, so the pointer finger, aim that to about that 90 degrees with your string. Okay, and you can either pick up, which is the cleanest. Okay, especially if you don't have nails. So just kind of use your thumb to guide your pointer finger to pick up. But if you have a nail, then you can definitely use that thumb to guide your pointer finger to strike down using your nail. I do not have a nail, so that's what it'll sound like. If you're okay with that, that's cool, You can use that same technique with any finger. You're like, oh, but I have long middle fingernails, like how like how I do. So same thing, like handing somebody a business card with your middle finger. So it makes that cross. Put that cross 90 degrees to the to the string. There it is. So down, 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 down. And with a nail, you can do down and up. Same ring finger if you want to do it that way. Same thing, hand a business card with your ring finger. Pinky finger. I didn't know that old owl you can play with his pinky. I have backup plans to backup plans. Yeah. If my thumb goes out of commission, thumb pick. If thumb pick's not working, pointer finger's not working, middle finger, and we're just gonna go down the line, Like all 5 fingers would have to be out of commission, and my thumb pick for me to stop picking on my ukulele.
and even then, the knob of your arm.
I think I'll figure out a way. Man. I love this so much. I'll figure out a way. All right. Maybe last question.
Okay. I was gonna say. I think related to the other question too. Yeah. Like I'm bored of the 4-chord song.
Yeah.
Like learn a song that you like. Learn the picking to a song that you already like or you at least know. And I think that's like the thing is people say like, I'm trying to learn picking, but my teacher tells me to learn, Mary Had a Little Lamb, and it's so boring, and I just don't want to do it. It's like, well, learn a song that you do want to learn, and the better that you know the song, the better you'll be able to, like, when you hit a note, tell if it's right or wrong. And that's important too, is like being able to compare yourself to what you know the song should be.
But I'm gonna give him the same advice that I gave to my kid, which is don't be in a rush to grow up. You know what I mean? Like, don't be in a rush to grow up. If your teacher's telling you to learn Mary Had a Little Lamb, there's a reason why you should learn how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb first. Like he's probably, or she is probably like getting you to master the fundamentals of picking first by using the song Mary Had a Little Lamb. It doesn't have to be that song, but keep the fundamentals and the lesson intact, because I know as a teacher that those have purpose, like it's not just like, okay, learn Mary Had a Little Lamb so you can play it in your next concert. Like, you're not gonna play Mary Had a Little Lamb at the next concert. It's just a tool or a device used so that you understand the concepts and fundamentals of picking. Don't try to grow up so fast. Like you gotta crawl before you can walk, kind of thing. So it might be boring, but it's better than trying to do like picking and you don't learn the fundamentals and you gotta relearn them later. And trust me, it's so much harder to learn the fundamentals after you think you know how to do stuff. You're gonna run across that wall, and it's gonna be harder to scale or to go through that wall if you already think that you know how to do it. So I
think
I get that a lot, especially like strumming, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people like don't learn proper strumming and they just like strum however and hold their ukulele however, and they're like, oh, how come I can't do this chord, or how come I can't play this line or whatever. And it always boils down to like, well, the form or the way that you're strumming or the way that you're picking is wrong, because like if you learn it this way, then that would be pretty easy if you had learned with like the proper form or the proper proper way of doing certain things. You skip the steps, because it's easy to skip steps with ukuleles, because ukulele is such an easy instrument to make noise with that you can start making noise with it like right away, but learning proper is there's a lot to it, especially if you have the luxury of a teacher. If you're saying like, oh, my teacher's telling me to play Mary Had a Little Lamb, it's like, oh, go do that.
I think you can, compromise with your teacher too by saying like,
can we do something more fun?
Or like say like, okay, I'll learn this, but like eventually I want to play this kind of songs, or can we like look for a song that I'm more interested in to work towards, to just give me an idea of like, when am I gonna be able to play what I want to play, Sure, I'll play Mary Had a Little Lamb if tomorrow we can work on While My Guitar Gently Weeps, right, Guy? Yeah, I think most teachers are like, they are willing to work with that, because a motivated student is way easier to teach than a student who's like, you mean I gotta play this song over again? It's like, well, yeah, but it's for a reason. We're getting there.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's it. But before we go, I have to mention that we are going to be in your area, Seattle. So because it's a month away. It's almost exactly a month from now. We will be in Washington. We will be in 3 different cities. It's going to be Edmonds, Port Orchard, and Seattle. Okay, that's we will be. Can you pull up a calendar for me, Kai? Because I know the dates and I know the places. Okay, pull up September. Sorry. Okay. So September 7, we are going to be in Edmonds, Washington. Okay, details very, very, very soon. And where did it go?
It should be there, right?
No, it's on August still.
Oh, sorry.
Show me September. And then, September 8th. The very next day, September 8th, we will be in Port Orchard in Washington. The 9th, that is Live Aloha Hawaiian Cultural Festival. That's in Seattle. And Sunday the 10th is also Live Aloha, the Hawaiian Cultural Festival. So the Live Aloha is going to be at the Seattle Center, the 9th and the 10th. On the 9th, if you are in Seattle at all, do not miss this. There's there's me doing some workshops, but there's also some great Hawaiian instructors from Hawaii. Legit, if you want to learn Hawaiian culture, attend. Go there on Saturday night. And you know why? It's free. It's the first year that all of these things are free. You want to learn Hawaiian language, you want to learn Hawaiian ukulele, you want to learn ukulele from me, because there's two different guys doing ukulele. So somebody doing Hawaiian ukulele, and I'm doing ukulele on the ground ukulele, you know? And there's so much cultural things to learn that it would be a shame if you wanted to do these things and they were free right there, and learning from masters of that cultural art. I think it'd be a shame for you to miss it. So all the workshops at the at Live Aloha is going to be free. So Saturday, just make a whole day, go to all of them for nothing, for free. Okay? So all free workshops Saturday the 9th in Seattle. All right? On Thursday and Friday, I believe Thursday I'm doing a workshop, and that will be a workshop that I'm not doing on Saturday. So that is like a paid premium workshop that I'm doing that I'm not doing Saturday. So don't think that like, I went to Aldrin's workshop on Thursday, I don't need to go on the 9. Or you can go on the 9 and like take other people's workshops, because they're great. It's very rich in culture, and I can't stress that enough. And you got nothing to lose because it's free. You know what I mean? Just go spend a day at the Seattle Cultural Center or Seattle Center and learn as much Hawaiian culture as you can. Saturday, September 9th. And then September 10th, it's all day, baby. All day Hawaiian and as ukulele music and lots of really cool cultural stuff. You want to learn how to learn how to make a lei. You want to learn how to just immerse yourself in Hawaiian culture. It's so cool. I feel like I say this a lot, but it really is one of the richest festivals that we've ever done. Like so rich in culture. It is just. It's overwhelming. They have Hi'ikua, they have Uhene, there's Vehile, and there's us. Those are like the top billed, performers that's gonna be there. Yeah. It's gonna be so good.
Performances all day.
Yeah, all day. And there's 2 stages. There's a Kanilea stage inside the Seattle Center, and there's on the outside by the mural as well. The big mural. Yeah. So really, really cool. And it'll be a shame if you missed it. It'll be such a huge shame because it's free. Yeah. So somebody doing. I'm looking at it now. So tradition of like kalo. Like if you want to learn how to pound kalo, like taro, you make poe and stuff. Jonah's a legend around here. You know what I mean? Jonah Solitario. Like he's taught like Hawaiian. He taught like Kamehameha High School. Like if to be a teacher at camp school, you gotta know your stuff. So he teaches like Hawaiian language and music. So really, really, really cool. There's Po'okele Kaika. There's Kea Peters. Who else? Kamuela, Kimokeo. He plays Hawaiian music. He's got a Hawaiian music certification. So you want to learn Hawaiian ukulele from a Hawaiian master, Kamuela. Really, really good. And Auntie Patty, she does like Maui feather lei kind of stuff. So people gather like little tiny feathers and make like for hats, for leis and whatnot. It's amazing. So like so much cool cultural things that's going on. I can't like stress this enough. Saturday the 9th and Sunday the 10th. Just if you're not from Seattle, make a trip because it's one of the coolest festivals that we've ever been a part of. And after last year, I'm telling everybody about this really cool thing that is like just there, Yeah. So
plus, basically every Hawaiian food truck in Washington is gonna be there. Yeah. Hawaiian restaurant, Hawaiian food truck, they're all there, all in one place. Yeah. Because the last year when we were there, my friend Tommy, came
that's
to,
right.
to visit, and he was like, "Oh, this is great because
It's all in one
usually,
place.
usually you'll have to drive to find these trucks or whatever. They're all in one place."
Nice. Yeah, and it's busy. It's like
super
like
busy.
thousands. I feel like of people like throughout that weekend, right? Like thousands of people go throughout the weekend. So,
but actually not that bad, right? Some of the lines, I mean, during lunch rush hour, it gets kind of busy, but like you can walk around all day and you can get whatever you want.
And best part, we'll be there.
We'll be hanging out.
We'll be hanging out there. I think Kanilea has a booth, so I'll probably be at that booth. So if you guys want to go hang out with me and Aaron, and Kaniho is gonna be there also. Don't let his tattoos fool you. He's a big teddy bear. You can go run up and hug him if you want. But we'll be hanging out like all weekend. So basically, I'm there. If I'm not doing a workshop, I'm probably gonna be out and about, just enjoying everybody else. I might be in some of other people's workshops because the list of people who are going to be there, that's pretty impressive. So we'll give you guys more information as we get them. I feel like this week we're going to finalize the Edmonds and the Port Orchard shows. So keep it locked here at Ukulele Underground. We'll see you folks next time. Tomorrow, private lessons will resume. So I'll see you folks at your private lessons tomorrow. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, sign up for UU Plus. You can take private lessons with yours truly as part of your subscription to UU Plus. Friday, we have Aloha Friday Live Jam. If you want to jam along with us, that's going to be our new schedule. It is a new month. It's a new day. Yes, it is. Kai. All right. We'll see you folks next time. Have a great week. Aloha.